What's up, guys? Welcome back to the AdTactix training. In this video, we're going to be going over the Target Sniper tool, which is definitely one of the most popular tools in AdTactix, and it's just got a lot of capabilities that you can use for testing new targets, monitoring existing campaigns. It's really powerful for launching new campaigns and just really keeping a close eye and pulse on how your different keywords are performing on a daily basis. So as you can see here over on the left under the Target Sniper, we're going to be going over the SOP overview and then just how to launch it step by step. So it's actually pretty simple. As you can see right now, we have some targets on here set as target level overrides. That is a requirement. You can either have targets or campaigns. They'll track, the Target Sniper will track either one of those. The SOP, you're going to go over to the optimized PPC menu, go to bid override table Target Sniper, and you can see here's kind of the menu for how to use it. There's really a three-step process to get it launched, but I'm going to open up this here and we can kind of go over the downloading of the report and whatnot, because that's pretty self-explanatory here with the SOP. So you can keep this slide out style open if you need help and forget any of the steps, but this video you're watching right now will be at the top of this video training button. If you click on that, you can kind of view all the images and stuff like that if you expand it, and then you can close out of that if you just want to look at this one. So anyway, what you're going to do is first download your 60-day, and it's got to be the daily sponsored products targeting report. So you can essentially click this button right here. So if I go here, and actually it's not going to let me, it's behind this window, but you can see here, you're just going to click the optimized PPC, go down to bid override table, Target Sniper, and then you click the download last 60-day targeting report. Then that's going to open you to Seller Central. You do need to be already logged in before you click that button. And it should take you right to the page where you can see this create report button. You'll just click on that yellow button. If for some reason this window doesn't open, click on this link here where it says read here, and it'll show you how in Google Chrome to disable pop-up blockers. That may be your issue. Sometimes there's also an issue with Google Suite accounts. So if you didn't follow the initial instructions of setting up a free dummy account and you're trying to use a Google Suite account, sometimes there's some issues there. So I do recommend the free Google accounts for operating the FBXL tools. All right, the button though, create report, that just takes you to a screen like this, and then you just need to be careful that you pick the right option. So it's going to be sponsored products, targeting, and then you're going to check the daily option. And then for this, I like to just click on last 30 days and then go into, it'll have a date picker here. You do need to click whatever the most current day is and then back up. You can actually grab as far as 60 days. So I'll kind of manually select 60 days. So you just start on like October 1st and then go all the way to the 30th, and then it'll select all the blue like that and hit save. All right, and from there, there's I don't have it shown in this screenshot, but there's just a run report button in the upper right corner. It's blue. Just click on that. And then after that, you can back up a step to the initial run report screen, which is right here. So you'll just back up a step and you'll see a database there of all the reports you're currently running. And this little download button is what you're looking for. So you need to wait until your download is ready to download, and then just click that little button, and then it's going to ask you where to save it. You can save it anywhere you want. I usually will put it in the FBXL export files folder, just that's where I keep all my kind of manually download reports. This isn't one of the reports that you put in the AdTactix new folder that is kind of automatically updated and imported through the settings tab in the import new data section. This is just a kind of auxiliary report that you can use if you want in order to fire off the Target Sniper here, but you do need this targeting data. The main key point here is don't accidentally pick this summary report you can see in red. It's not going to work. The Target Sniper is not going to work if you pick the summary data, because it needs the daily data to track all the metrics on a daily basis. So hopefully that makes sense. At any rate, once you're ready to go, and this is where I'm going to hop back into the tools, we're going to come back and insert the targeting report into AdTactix. So just to kind of show you the rest of the SOP here though, once it's imported, we're going to initialize it. It's just a click of one button, and then we hop back into the menu and launch it. So it's another button you're just going to click, and then there's a little icon there on the bid override table you use to expand the Target Sniper, and then from there you've got kind of all the data ready and populated. And then there's just a few other buttons there that is highlighted here in the SOP that shows you how to kind of view all the data in one view versus collapsing it into more minimized views. And from there, it's just a matter of the next time you want to use the target sniper, you do need to download a new report, which would obviously have your most recent data starting from like yesterday to 60 days prior. So hopefully that makes sense. And then this other options, delete use sheets, that I like to use for kind of the next iteration or optimization cycle. When you click this, it's actually going to delete your target report automatically for you. So anyway, to illustrate this, I'm just going to go into, let's see, import. And I've already got my targeting report saved. So I'm just going to locate that. All right, so I've got a test files folder here set up. So I just need to find 60-day targeting daily. You can really name it whatever you want. Insert new sheet, import data. And this is a very large report. The targeting report's, I think, one of the largest Amazon reports that you can download, just because it's got literally every target in your PPC campaign manager that you're currently running on for the past 60 days. So if you've got a massive account, you may get an error here. Unfortunately, for those accounts, you'll have to pick a smaller date range if you do want to use the target sniper, because it's just too massive. But for the 95% of the users, it should work fine. But when you do import it, you'll see it's kind of got a weird file name. This first initialize script will run. We'll change this name automatically and then just make one little optimization to your file that makes things easier. So you're going to go up and do wait until the green loading bar finishes. That tends to help out. So that's just saying that things are still kind of calculating in the background. Anyway, so go to bid override table, target sniper, and then we've already clicked this button in the demo that I'm doing right now. Yeah, it just takes you to Seller Central. Again, make sure you're logged in before you hit that, and that'll help you get your file quicker. And then you're going to initialize it once it's imported like this, and you'll see this tab name is going to change here in just a second. You can see it prompts you too, just to verify that that's kind of the view that you're seeing right now, which it is. So I'm going to hit yes. All right, you see it just changed to target sniper data and it just completed. So it's a really quick little script it runs. And then I guess, yeah, it's going to take you back to your bid override table. That's where the target sniper is. So I've probably already got some data populated here, which isn't a big deal. I'm just hitting this little plus button and should expand. So there we go. So one key point I wanted to make before you actually launch it, you want to set this date to be the most recent date. So in this case, potentially yesterday. This test file I have starts at the 3rd of October, but today's December 3rd. If I would have downloaded my targeting report starting from December 2nd, I would set this to December 2nd, because it's going to set whatever you put in there for your most recent date to this value. So you can actually double click on this cell too and pick from the date picker if you want, but it's just critical that you make sure that that date kind of lines up with your first start date that you want to start tracking. All right, and then when you're ready, you can essentially just come up and click Launch Target Sniper. All right, and just hit yes, and then just kind of let it do its thing. This will take 30 seconds or so, especially if the file is really large. It's doing quite a bit in the background to aggregate all of this data, but once it's done, you'll get a prompt, and then you're pretty much ready to use it. All right, so that went pretty quick. I'll hit OK. Just let this running script change to finished. It'll take a couple more seconds to do that. All right, finished script. You can see the green kind of finishes loading there. That just means there's a few other calculations going on in the background. You can click around in the cells when you know you're good to go. All right, and then from there, if you're happy with like the date range and all the information that got imported, you can actually delete this manually, and I would recommend doing that just because this file is so large that it's going to slow everything else down if you don't delete it. And the target sniper already has the data in it that it needs, so it's just got all the values in there. There's really no formulas that is calling up on that data. So as long as you're good with kind of how it's looking and you're not going to add any more targets that you want to relaunch things with, I would do that at that step. If you did want to add some more targets, you can definitely do that. Let's see. So you would obviously go over an intermittent step would be you'd go over to your sponsored products file. You'd have to grab the column A, come back here, and then paste it into your bid override table down at the bottom. Now, what you would need to do to relaunch it, if you had some other targets you wanted to add, is you need to sync your bid override table before you relaunch the target sniper, because it does need this target value here in order to look up the information. So that's a good point. So if you run it the first time and you're like, oh, I want to add a few more targets and view that information, you'd need to add it. Step 2 would be sync it with this button here. Then step 3, you can come back up and you can always, if you haven't deleted the target sniper data yet, you can always relaunch it and it'll pull in, any new targets that you've populated. So anyway, so once you've gotten to this step, you're pretty well ready to use it. You can see anything over, I think it's 3 orders or more, shows up in green. So that just kind of gives you a visual indicator. But you can now come up, and if you want to see everything all in one view, you can hit full view here. I typically don't use this because it kind of overwhelms my eyes, but you'll see what it does here in a second. All right, so you can see it's kind of maximized the row height, and you can see all of the metrics now in line. Some of these that have the organic rank actually in there as well, those are from Helium 10. You have to have used the rank tracker feature in your supplemental reports, which is right here with the rank file. So you need to set that up in Helium 10 where you've got for each ace and you're tracking whatever keywords you want. And then those will also populate on the AdTactix dashboard. This video is not on that, but the rank data there gets used in a few different places in AdTactix, and the target sniper is one of them. So you can review the SOP right here for how to import that data. And as long as that has been imported, you will see that rank data right here, and it'll show organic rank and sponsored rank. For the notes, you would need to populate those here on the labs tab, and that shows up here under sniper notes. So just click on the little plus button here, and then you do need to paste in the override field from the bid override table, which that's just the value here. So I already deleted my target sniper report, so if I try to relaunch it, it's going to not work. But the process here to add the notes would be copy this value, come back here, Control-Shift-V to paste the values, and then you're going to put the date in here. So it would need to match up to the date that you want the note to show up in the target sniper. So let's pretend it was 10/3-22. And then here's where you're going to put your note. So say you changed your title or something or lowered your price, you could kind of note that. And then the idea is when you anytime launch the target sniper and your date shows up in this date range, and again, launching the target sniper, you would need to have your file in there and initialized, but you just click this button here. And as soon as you click this button here, it's going to pull in your rank data, all of the PPC metrics, and notes if you have them in that database. So pretty self-explanatory, I think, how that works. The only other feature here to kind of discuss is, let's say you've got your, actually here, let me show you one more. So come down here. This is a view I tend to use, compact view with spend. So you can click on that. It's just going to give you a more simplified view that has your CPC orders and spend kind of with each row, but it's not going to show you everything. All right, so this is a little bit easier to kind of view. Now, let's say though I want to see at the top here over the past 60 days, which targets have had the most orders, and they may not be kind of apparent. So you'll see here if we've got an example, I don't know if we will or not. All right, so I've re-imported the target sniper data here, and I've just reinitialized it, which is what we just learned how to do. So essentially I've clicked this button after I've imported it back to seeing the target sniper source data. And now if I pick total orders, it's got the data there to calculate the orders that we're looking for. So I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so let's click Z to A, and that'll just bring all of the higher orders to the top. All right, so now what you can do that can be interesting at times is if you have any patterns here where before 30 days ago, or let's say there's a lot of green and a lot of orders and it's dipped off for whatever. You can see a span here where there was like nothing. So you can really quickly analyze trends, and you can see real quickly what the target was converting at there with the top line versus your spin versus the number of orders. So it's just kind of an easy way at a glance to see if there's any sales trends going on with any of those, or maybe you lost your placement that was critical, stuff like that. All right, and then the other thing I can illustrate now that I redid that is the notes. So let me just expand all of these again. You can also just drag, this is what I usually do, so you can come over here and double click and it'll expand just one kind of row at a time, so that can be helpful. Let me see if I can find the one we did by doing this. No. Thought it was up here towards the top. Let me just expand all of them. So if you remember, I added the note there to the Labs tab, and now that I relaunched the Target Sniper, that note should show up here in this October 3rd column for one of these. I can't remember which one it was. So it's right there. So you can see if I made that a little wider. Change title. So the idea there is if you track notes with the Target Sniper and you see any spikes or dips, you can look at that note field and kind of understand if one of your changes may have affected it. Like if you added a coupon, lowered your price, changed your title, changed your search terms, a lot of different things you could plug in there. So anyway, that's the Target Sniper. Now, if I go to use it for the next optimization cycle or whatever, the kind of first step you typically do is click this delete use sheets, and you'll see it's going to actually remove this Target Sniper data when I hit yes, along with all of my other bulk file information, prompting for you'd have to download a new bulk file, new Target Sniper data, stuff like that. So I'm going to hit OK, and you'll see all of these are going to disappear. All right, and then you're kind of back to the start, takes you back to the settings tab, and you're good to go for the next time. So hopefully this made sense, guys. I will see you on the next video. Cheers.